Good morning, everyone. How are we all doing? Hey, Mr. Garlic Clark is here. See, we delayed the stream till just after 11-ish, so Mr. Garlic Clark can be right here from the very beginning. And as I type that, I've let Iceman down. I'm sorry, Iceman. I've let us all down as chatbot is not running. I may have had to do some PC restarts, but we're good. It's loading back up, so give it a few seconds and try again. Exclamation mark Garlic Clark should work. How are we all doing? Bibby's mic is live. Fuck's sake. Let's test. Bibby, say something. Bibby's mic should be live now, and mine should be live too. I heard Bibby talking during the intro. What we were talking about, I can't remember what we were talking about. I'm talking about the countdown. Not the countdown. We're doing the asset stuff. I was asking him what video software he uses, so I can do the same thing. So there you go. That's what we talk about. That kind of stuff we talk about during the intro is about how we can make social media assets for you guys. So fill your boots. There you go. How are we all doing though? Good morning. Something free or something? Yeah, he was talking about DaVinci video editing software. I'd asked him what video editing software. Do you know what? Let me see if I can find a way to give you a little bit of a bit behind the scenes. Can I get a URL for this image? Open image, copy image URL. So let me give you a little bit of an idea of what we're doing. So not that you really need to know this. This is a complete tangent. I'd not planned to show this whatsoever, and it doesn't really look great as it is. But this is what we were talking about. Ta-da! There you go. It's just a plain screen with a box, a logo, and our URL at the bottom. That's all it is. But that is a transparent background. That is our URL, and that is a box. So when we go live, we're just working on our Instagram assets. So the thing with Ice Cream Uploads, as we mention all the time, is that we do this on the side. So we know what we want to be doing. We know what we want to put onto YouTube. We know what we want to put on Instagram and all of that sort of stuff. But knowing what you want to do and having the time and availability to put it together is obviously two different things. Anyone that's become a streamer will know that. You know, you start off on a little desk in a corner, and then eventually you get a second screen, and then you get a keyboard and mouse that's not from Windows 95, and then and that's it. You kind of build yourself up. So we whilst our stuff looks decent and it sounds good and we're very proud of it, we always want to keep moving it forward. So we were talking about video editing bits there. So anyway, when we go live, we make a YouTube thumbnail and post that thumbnail out, which is fine, but it just means that we have to, one, rush through the thumbnail, and two, post a YouTube thumbnail on social media where it might not work as well. So that is just a template for us to put. We want to put video assets live as we go live. So you'll get a little video of me and Bibby going, welcome, this is The Scoop. Today we're talking about the fact that Mr. Asim Tanvir wants a hot tub stream and Gary Clark isn't actually physically related to any form of garlic. See you soon. Like that kind of thing. But yeah, so we were talking about that. So anyway, the bit that you heard about being free was me asking him what video software we can do that. Because obviously After Effects is what we have in the studio, but we don't have individual licenses for After Effects because we're not designers. We don't need it. So I was asking how we can use the elements that the design guys have made for us that we can then edit on the fly. So we're talking about like Hit Film or DaVinci video editing software. So there you go. You didn't need to know that, but that's the introduction that you get. So we are working on our social media assets. So we know our content is good. We know we can talk a good talk when we're on the stream. We know that you guys like that too, but we just want to make it look even better all the time, always getting better. And that's kind of the key thing, is making sure that you don't stand still. Because what is it Mr. Gary Witter says, Bib?
It says, if you ain't making moves, you're standing still.
You're goddamn right. So that's kind of the mantra that we take as well. We need to keep making moves. We don't want to stand still.
We've been talking about this on our Discord since like 9:30 this morning. It's just like our daily routine. What we're going to do today, how can we improve? What can we do better? What we're doing that we can already do better.
I think we should change this font. I think we should do this stuff. I think we should add a 9-pixel stroke to the outline of the text font to make sure it stands out on individual surfaces. Just everything from minuscule things to, I've got a plan for a huge tournament we can do next week kind of thing. Which actually, we're talking about tournament stuff last night as well. So there you go. Anyway, that's a whole different conversation. How the devil are you guys in the chat? Are you all good? Are you all good? Let's see who's here. So we had Fatman Dave saying Bibby's mic is live. Thank you. We fixed it. Enzo. Good morning, Enzo. How's things, dude? And then Lake shouting about the mic as well. I heard Bibby talking during the intro, says Garlic. Yeah, no, he didn't. Tony Hawk will be the longest talking point, CYK and a widescreen, from what I heard. Yeah, there you go. That's because we were talking about the soundtrack. So if anyone checks out my Instagram, I shared our post on Instagram on my own Insta, and yeah, I used Superman by Goldfinger, and I think that's kind of what started that conversation ish. Maybe, I don't know. Da Vinci has broadened his horizons a bit since his painting days. Well, you know, it's not 17 whatever it was. I don't know when Da Vinci was around, so that could be hundreds of years away. I don't know, but it's 2021. Da Vinci, you know, you need to get up to speed. I don't use Da Vinci, but I've heard it's really good. Well, that's kind of what Bibby was saying. Then Da Vinci's better than Hit Film. I've never used either, so it's a learning curve for me either way. I'm fantastic, just editing some clips and getting breakfast. Okay, give us the breakdown. What is in the breakfast? Whilst you type that out, I will jump into the intro, because you guys probably know already, but if you don't know, my name is Graham Day. How you doing? And I'm joined by the man that we call Baby. You know, he just spends the intro talking about Da Vinci film and Hit Film and stuff like that. So yeah, you know what it's like. Anyway, we are Ice Cream Uploads, and in true ice cream fashion, this is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast. Even if we do say so ourselves, we are going to give you our thoughts and our impressions over the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories in the world of video games over the next hour or so. We do that each and every single weekday live on Twitch at 10 a.m. Ish. It's 11:12. Not quite 10 a.m., but there's an ish. I've just said we do worky stuff. We have an exclusive emote that covers it, so it's fine. We go live at 10 a.m. ish each and every single weekday. And if you are in the chat, it's important that you get involved. You have responsibilities. With great punctuality ish comes great responsibility. That's exactly how it was referenced in Spider-Man 100%. Anyway, if you're in the chat, you have the responsibility of getting involved on behalf of everyone else watching and listening on demand. We turn this live stream into a podcast, a video on YouTube, and an audio podcast on iTunes and Spotify and SoundCloud and Google Play. So please feel free to use your voice on behalf of everyone else watching and listening on demand. Just before we jump into the show, I want to go over a couple of talking points, like I usually do. ! Giveaway. We are giving away 50 quid. Not in cash, but in insert coin. Gary's gone for the loot drop first. I caught you off guard there. So we're giving away a 50 quid insert coin voucher. You want to buy yourself some new threads, get involved with that. If you're a subscriber, there is another giveaway, but that one is just exclusive to subscribers. That's ! Loot drop. Make sure that you're in our Discord if you're a sub. It's as simple as that. Well, it's not. You have to be in our Discord and have your Twitch and Discord accounts linked so that Discord can see that you're a sub. If that's done, then you can get into the loot drop giveaway. We're giving away a game, not Monday coming, but Monday after, and you get a choice of one of three. If you want to see what those games are, just click that link in the chat. Gary's dropped both ! Loot drop and ! Giveaway. Check them out. Nice. Sweet, this should be the split screen. Boop.
And breathe.
So there you go. I didn't mean to have it on the screen, but it makes sense. The stories that we will be going over today, obviously, you've seen the main story, and you've heard Bibby talking about it in the countdown, is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. There is potentially a new Tony Hawk's Pro Skater game coming. We'll jump into that first, and then we will jump into Battlefield 6, some leaks from the trailers on that. The new Uncharted movie, we've got some assets from that. Tell you what we haven't got assets for, though. A new God of War film or TV show. That spreads off of that story, and then we wrap things up with a leak on what the next PS Plus free games could be. So that's the rundown for the day. Pretty spicy show, actually, when you break it all down. I mean, me and Bib were looking at the news this morning going, okay, it's a bit light on the old content today, but we've managed to scour enough to make it nice. So the scoop is fully leaking today. Yeah, new scoop needed. Leaks all over the place. But this is the main leak that we're talking about. I'm going to hit play on the trailer, even though it's not what we're talking about, but it just adds a little bit of colour and movement to the screen while I'm reading. So, actually, I'll start again. Don Peppiatt of VG247 says, it looks like Activision may be working on a new Tony Hawk's Pro Skater game. According to CKY drummer Jess Margera, Activision is working on a new Tony Hawk's Pro Skater following the success of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remaster. CKY drummer Jess Margera may have spilled the beans about an unannounced Activision project in a new interview. Appearing on the Behind Closed Doors podcast back in April. The drummer and brother of series mainstay Bam Margera noted that the band is working on a new title with the publisher Cheers VGC. This is a quote within the article now. Now touring is your main income, and you really have to try and get licensing deals. Try and get in where you can on video games or whatever, Margera explained in the interview. And I believe we're doing the new Tony Hawk's Pro Skater game coming out too. It's unlikely Margera is referring to the already released Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remaster here. Margera isn't ignorant to the game's release and seems to be clued up on what's coming next. Quote, yeah, my son just got a PS5 and he got the remaster of 1 and 2, he replies when the interview asks if he's excited to be in the next project. Quote, it's so cool because the classic Tony Hawks are just so good and laid out great, but obviously the system is old and the graphics aren't so great, so they basically just vamped up with the same premise and the graphics are amazing. CKY previously had 96 quite bitter beings included in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. Does that mean Activision is potentially looking at doing a re-release of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4? The publisher has yet to announce anything about the future of the franchise behind Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remaster coming to Nintendo Switch in June, but it would make sense for the developer to ride the wave of hype generated from the remaster's strong sales and reviews. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater potentially having a new game. Wow, that is well bizarre. Bibby absolutely shacking out on my screen. It's not on the stream preview, so I think he's good. I think he's fine. So yeah, could you see yourself playing a new Tony Hawk's Pro Skater game? Would you like that, babe? And if so, are you thinking something brand new, or are we thinking is it going to be a 3 and 4 remaster? What are you saying?
I'm more disappointed in myself that I haven't played the remasters of 1 and 2 yet. I was a massive... I mean, that whole Tony Hawk's era of skateboarding, I wanted to be able to skateboard so bad. That was... I really... I was just so shit. I must have had like 4 or 5 skateboards. Like, that whole era of MTV, Viva La Bam, Jackass, Tony Hawk's, all of that thing was literally from maybe 8 or 9 all the way up until probably 17, 18-year-old bib. And I was born in 1990 as well, so I had all of the good stuff. Like Bam Margera was one of my absolute heroes. Ryan Dunn, all these guys. I mean, Bam Margera is a fucking knobhead now. His head's well and truly gone. But back in the day, like I just fucking loved him. I wanted to be that guy so much. And I'm disappointed that I haven't gone back and played these games because they were so good. There was a massive part of me playing video games when I was younger. The music, my whole music taste was based around that kind of thing. So listening to the likes of him, listening to CKY. So yeah, I'm disappointed in myself that I haven't played those yet. If there's anybody that has ever played any of Tony Hawk's Pro, Tony Hawk's 3 was probably the best one. So it doesn't surprise me that this would be. I mean, CKY 96, quite a bit of beings was in Tony Hawk's 3. I think that was the first time that they had made a song for the series. So yeah, I imagine that 3 and 4 would probably, maybe just 3, maybe not 4, but 3 would definitely be the next one. I think that'll get remastered rather than trying to bring out a new one. With the way that Tony Hawk's 5 flopped so hard, I think they'll be waiting to try and build as much good fortune back with the Tony Hawk's fans before releasing Tony Hawk 6. So yeah, I think 3 is probably the next best thing.
See, I'm not sure. For me, I played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. I think I may have played some of 3 and just didn't bother with 4. And thankfully, didn't even touch 5. So for me, if you kind of want to catch favour with the fans, and I know I'm speaking on behalf of myself, but I definitely am speaking on behalf of the masses. Most people play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, and then obviously naturally you get a drop off as the people have ridden the crest of that wave. You've got the Alien Ant Farms of the world, the OPMs, Ebenezer Halfpipe, and all that stuff coming out at the same time. Everyone was playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater then. You got obviously a lot of people played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, but then the drop off started. So whilst 3 may have been the best game technically, it wasn't the one that had the boom. So if you want to kind of catch people's attention, then I think I would feel going from 1 and 2 remaster into 3 and 4 remaster is almost kind of like okay, well, you've got our attention, and now you're doing same but different. Give us different. Give us something bigger and better. So, I mean, I didn't even think, reading through that article, I didn't even consider that the next release could be 3 and 4 until that paragraph there. So it said, CKY previously had 96 quite bitter beings included in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. Does that mean Activision is potentially looking at doing a re-release of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, or just 3, as Bibby said? I didn't even consider that. And hopefully that is just them drawing a conclusion between 2 points, because I think this is the point now. After 1 and 2 has caught people's imagination and has shown the world that Activision knows how to make a skateboarding game, not just whatever happened with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5.
Yeah.
That, look, we can do this, boom, and give us something that's open world, beautiful, next gen, fully ray traced, and all of that jazz, but plays like a solid skating game, not something that's just a whatever you can call Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 was. So yeah, I would love to see. I mean, if it's 3 and 4, I think that would scratch some people's itch. But that, for me, the danger of that is you're making a breakout success and turning it back into a niche. You're turning it back in on itself. And I think Tony Hawk, the series, and what I have of it in my mind, in my memory, I think it deserves to be set free now, not just living in the past. I mean, don't get me wrong, bring out a 3 and a 4 remaster, but do that as something that keeps the embers going. When you've got a 6 that absolutely slaps, drop out 3 and 4 remaster as well. Okay, you want to break from that? Well, we'll bring you 7 in a few years' time, but for now, check this out. 3 and 4, pow.
Yeah. I mean, if they are asking Jesse for one of his tracks, it's like the Tony Hawk's 1 and 2. They didn't manage to get all of the tracks from the original one, which is a massive thing. It's like people asking for PES 6 remasters and PES 5 remasters. Like, you can't have that for licensing issues, not just because it might be the intro music or the menu music or something like that, purely because of the players that are in it. You might not be able to go back and sign half of the players.
But let's talk about football. Let's talk about football.
Soccer.
Yeah, there we go. I didn't think you were going to do it. All around the world. Soccer.
Yeah, like if they're asking Jesse about potential CKY music, that makes more sense. That is probably going to be a 3 remaster, because we had like Skepta in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remaster, because they might not have been able to fulfill all the songs from the original one. They've obviously managed to get like Goldfinger and I think Sum 41 made an appearance as well. So they have got some of the original tracks in there.
Yeah, it quite jarred with me. Shirley Bassey, a bit of Goldfinger over the top of it. Just did not understand why that was there. Goldfinger.
Like I love grime music, and Skepta being included was cool as fuck, but it's not quite pop punk, is it? I mean, you talk about games shaping music tastes and stuff like that. That is one of the main reasons why I got into pop punk in the first place. The likes of Dave Murray, Freestyle BMX, Matt Hoffman, Tony Hawk, all of these games all becoming gateways for my music taste growing up. And then it gets a little bit heavier with the likes of Slipknot and things. So yeah, it's
amazing how it branched off in so many different directions as well. Because you got the heavier bits off into Slipknot, but then you also got a bit more urban with it. So like the likes of NERD crossovers and stuff. Because that's the kind of direction I went. I wasn't aware of Pharrell and NERD before playing. Actually, it wasn't from necessarily Tony Hawk's. It was from probably the worst game ever in terms of bikes. It was BMX XXX, which my mate bought on the premise that it had boobies in it. So shout out to Carl.
But Simpsons skateboarding. That was a fucking shocker of a game.
Yeah, okay, maybe. Okay, BMX XXX for the bikes, Simpsons skateboarding for the boards. But yeah, it's amazing how the music was so influential. But maybe that's it then. So, I mean, it could be a case of CKY obviously had 96 quite bitter beings in 3. Are they just talking about licensing that again? Maybe it's a case of, okay, these guys have history with the series, so it will be nice to, if we want to keep touching the past but move towards the future, getting CKY's newer stuff or some of their older stuff that's not 96 quite bitter beings, but getting something else and putting that onto the track for 6 could be a good way to go as well. I mean, either way, whichever way, if you're a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater fan, you will have more to play if this leak is to be believed. Obviously, it is a leak, so take it with a pinch. But let's jump through the comments. Lucas, good morning, says Tony Hawk's Underground 1 and 2. Tony Hawk's Underground 1 and 2 remake, please. Thoughts, Bib?
Tony Hawk's Underground 2, I think, was the one with Bam, actually. So it was Team Bunny versus Team Bam, and they had the Jackass crew in there. I don't know if you're going to get Bam to go back into the studio and do some voiceover work, because if anyone follows him on any kind of social media, his head has well and truly gone. In fact, Samantha actually paid him to do a cameo for our anniversary, which is next week. And it was a full 7 seconds long. Everything Samantha put forward to him didn't even touch any of it. It was just, he's a fucking mess. So trying to get him into the studio to try and do anything like that is probably going to be an impossible task. But I mean, I'd be all for it. Underground was
that
class.
Awkward moment where you pay for Bam Margera and get Scatman John.
Getting a full refund because she obviously reported it for being fucking shit because it was absolutely inaudible. And then Cameo just went, right, okay, refunded the money back. So yeah, it's just a fucking waste of time, and it's a massive disappointment because of how much he was one of the first influencers, I think, in terms of what he did for a lot of people in terms of not just skateboarding, but having your own show on MTV and having a house where people just come round and knob about. And he was like, having the Phase house, he was like one of the first people to do this kind of thing, like having all his mates stay around and just having the MTV cameras come in and record them for 3 or 4 months and then put it out as a show. Like that kind of thing didn't happen, but it's a fucking crying shame, absolute crying shame. It's so disappointing, but yeah, I'd like to see him change, but he never will now. I think he'll probably be dead in the next couple of years, which again is probably hugely disappointing, but it is what it is. He can't save himself. His family can't save him. People have tried. So yeah, I think it's wishful thinking him getting back into the booth to re-record some of his lines or just try to do a new one with him. He's currently at war with the Jackass crew because he's been told that he's not allowed to go into the new Jackass film because of how he is at the moment. So he's at war with everybody, including Johnny Knoxville. So he's going to do more damage to himself than anybody else.
Well, that ties in to Enzo's comment as well. He says, Tony Hawk is nostalgia at this stage for me. I don't think I'd ever go back to them now. Games options are different now, and the selection is greater. I don't see a skater game would gather much interest. It's not the 90s anymore. Skater people are a dying breed, if Bam Margera is anything to go by, that's true, and not mainstream anymore. See that is my worry. I think, like, is this just like one of those where, hey, old people, this is for you. And everyone's like, yeah, fuck yeah. And everyone's high-fiving and loving the fact that we've got all those old options and stuff coming back. But then it just kind of, like, most of the other people go, oh, okay, yeah, I'm not going to play that. I mean, that's the thing. I don't know. I can't answer that question. I hope it's not the case because those games are exceptional. And skateboarding is something that, yeah, it's not mainstream, but it wasn't mainstream before it was mainstream either, and one thing we can be sure about is the universe that we live in from a content and entertainment perspective is very much cyclical. Games that weren't in fashion were in fashion, then aren't in fashion, then are in fashion, and styles. The styles of games that you play and how they're made need to evolve for sure. But I could see Tony Hawk's Pro Skater coming back with a little bit of joie de vivre, some of that oomph to like step forward into the next generation of consoles, of games, of genres, whatever you want to budget into.
Everything comes full circle, doesn't it?
So I think you are right with the comment of it's not. It's just not. But that's not to say it couldn't be, because who would have thought, like me, a bunch of years ago, jumping down into Modern Warfare 2. That was me, full on. I mean, I've mentioned Boots on the Ground a million times, and I'll mention it till the cows come home. And when the cows come home, I'll be like, you don't even live here. Get the fuck out of my house, cows. But even still, like, real, gritty. I want war. I want dirt, I want dust, I want sniper missions, I want an AC-130 dropping bombs and all of this gritty stuff because this is super cool and relevant, and then fast forward a few years later and I'm running around with Bibby building ramps with lightsabers in my hand, dressed as Kylo Ren in Fortnite.
What a Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. And yesterday I was dressed as some guy with a pink glowing KO on my back, throwing a dodgeball at someone. I mean, so things change, and things definitely do go in trends. So I could see it coming back. I definitely think you're right now. It's had its day. But that I wouldn't go as far as saying it's not due another day either. So it could absolutely come back. And for me, if it wants to have another day, it has to go for a 6. Something bigger and better. A new way of playing the game. Be that another multiplayer format, be that just a really cool content storyline or something like that. Something that pushes people into playing the game that they haven't done before. If they just go with 3 and 4 remaster, then it's like, oh, that's that old series that was just made not as old. Okay, and then it becomes a bit more difficult then.
Like, you don't see many kids around anymore with skateboards. I mean, at one point, scooters was kind of the thing. Skate parks, we did actually have quite a few around where I lived. So they was always rammed. There's one in Manchester actually under the bridge, which is always busy still.
Yeah,
That's still
absolutely heaving.
Still people crying for that kind of thing. But yeah, it definitely comes around. Like the birth of extreme sports on Sky, like that was massive. Like if you go into Cane and Grain in Manchester, they always have that on the TV, and people sat there watching it. Like, so there is still a market for it. I hope it comes back in again because it was so fucking cool, and I was gutted. It's like I'd love to be able to play guitar. I can't fucking play that. Some things you're just not very good at, and that is one of them. I remember being on the front and getting candle wax on the on the curbs so we could try and grind it. None of us could grind, but we've seen people doing it, and we tried to do it and kept on falling off. So I
couldn't even just master going forward without falling off. Like I fell off, hurt myself quite badly the first time, and I thought, you know what, fuck that shit. I'm not a big fan of pain, so I mean, I'm good with pain. I can manage it. Don't want it, so I'll probably just watch other people do it instead.
So I hope to God it comes back round again because it was like that whole era. Like the music I think music was one of the biggest parts of it, and there's so many different genres of music now that have been introduced, like trap metal. Who would have thought that you could have trap music and heavy metal put together? So that's a new genre of music that could potentially get people into this kind of thing as well. So music is just as big a part of skateboarding than actual just skateboarding because it influences the way that you act, way that you dress, way that you I don't know, maybe use the skateboard. So there's so many other things knocking around now. I do hope that it comes back. I mean, that's not just for the sake of skateboarding itself, but Tony Hawk was one of the most influential sports people around at the time. There wasn't many skateboarding games. He revolutionized the way that sports games are to that ilk. That's the reason why we ended up getting BMX games for a start. So yeah, I mean, now is the time. Strike while the iron is hot. You've got a very, very good remaster that sold exceptionally well. I think it probably exceeded their tallies of what they wanted to sell. So, like you say, I think they could go either way. They could go for a remaster 3 and 4. The only reason we've ended up featuring this is because someone who created a soundtrack for, or one of the songs in a soundtrack for Tony Hawk's 3 about 15 years ago has said that potentially there's another one coming. So
yeah, he did that on a podcast. So basically, we need to get a few more people that have made video games music before or whatever on the show, and we'll just ask them questions until we get all of the stories. Yes, please. That's what we're going to do. Just before we continue, see if this works. Yeah, there we go. If anyone can just retweet that tweet, that would be lovely because that brings other people in to join in the conversation. Thank you very much. David says, compared to the previous generations, we are among the first ones that can truly have the nostalgia cashed in on. So I think there will be a market games-wise. See, I agree with that. The only thing that makes me kind of like ponder about that is part of the reason why Tony Hawk as a game was so successful, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater was so successful, was because it gave skaters a game that featured skating. It wasn't necessarily, oh, here's skating for you. And it was like skaters were playing at that point. Anyone that tried to play anything that was skating was weird button bashy sequentially sort of stuff, or you got the half pipe in California games, and that was kind of it. Whereas Tony Hawk wanted something that was real, that was legitimate, that skaters believed in, kind of thing. So any cash in around this, I mean, that statement is absolutely true for a lot of industries and genres, but around skating, there's very much authenticity vibe. If you're not authentic, if you're not a skater, skaters will see that. Just like Twitch. Twitch is probably the greatest example of that. If you try to advertise on Twitch and don't know what you're doing and don't know who you're working with and you don't know how community will how communities work or the underlying current issues or vibes or topics or whatever, your brand will get slated. I mean, I always forget its name. There's a makeup brand that's just butchering itself by some Elf Cosmetics. They are trying to reach out to a gamer audience because they realize that gamer audiences, a lot of them are female, so we can talk to them about cosmetics, but are shitting all over their own campaign by not having inclusivity. They've got a really bad selection of people in their portfolio. Basically, they just picked a bunch of white people. That was essentially it, and gone, "Da-da!" Not realizing that people aren't just going to go, oh, well, they're pretty people that will buy it. And it's like, no, you want to come into our house and have a conversation. You need to be legitimate. You need to be authentic. You need to have a reason to want to speak to me. So these games, I know it's quite an extreme extrapolation to bring it back to Tony Hawk kind of thing, but these games are probably similar to that in terms of it's the audience. If they want to actually hit a youthful audience, a skater audience, then they need to be authentic. So if it's just a cash grab, then the people will see that, absolutely. So they could, if they go for that, people will see it. It won't stick around for a while. If they try to do something that actually satisfies the needs and hits the hearts and minds of the core community, like the original game did 20 odd years ago, then it could be good. We could see a revival.
But don't forget, I mean, at the time, Tony Hawk he was getting players. He was getting skaters to come into a game. So that there was like Kerry Getz and Bob Burnquist and obviously Bam himself. So these were exceptional skateboarders that people may not necessarily know, but the people who are hardcore at skateboarding would have known exactly who they were. And you got to play as these skaters, as well as obviously create your own in the later on in the franchise. So it's not as if this was just a whim. This was proper. This was Activision going, okay, we've got money to throw at this. And I think one of the demos of the game when it was being built it used the same engine. I don't know if anyone ever played this, but it's called Armageddon with Bruce Willis. It was a brilliantly shit game if anyone's never played it.
Baby game.
But yeah, absolutely. Look it up after this podcast. Look it up. It was called Armageddon, and it had Bruce Willis in it. And they used Bruce Willis on the skateboard going downhill. So you were able to grind, do tricks and stuff like that. But that's how this game got birthed. So from the ground up, this game was always aimed at a particular demographic, and it reached it. It absolutely nailed it. It was lightning in a bottle, and you could only do that so many times until it becomes a cash grab. I think there's probably like 25 different versions of Tony Hawk's games out there now, whether or not it'll be the mainstay in the franchise or spin-off games, like the one that they had on Wii where you could use your fucking Wii board as a skateboard. Probably not great, but
nope.
They've got different versions of this game, so it's fantastic. Like, it's lightning in a bottle stuff. It'll never happen again, and I'm glad now that we've got remasters. I need to play this game. I need to buy it, so I can experience it again. But I mean, Tony Hawk's 3 and 4, if that comes out, great. Tony Hawk 6, great. We just need to try and capture that again, because I think we get into a point now where these games were 15, 17 years old. Trends come and go, and I think eventually skateboarding will come back again. And who's better than to do that than Tony Hawk's? It's the biggest franchise out there in skateboarding. So, yeah, I can't wait.
For sure.
Long live the king.
Let's jump through the comments then, so we can move on to the next one then. Gary says, I bet they're grinding to get this done. It's like Crazy Taxi soundtrack. Stuff like Offspring and the like got me into that music back in the day. Bibi was talking about Bam Margera's House Where You Knob About. So Asim says, a house where you knob about? Isn't that a brothel or the Playboy Mansion? Tina says, I'm old. I can answer that question. Yes, it is. I can't remember. What question it is. To counter that, the remasters did quite well sales-wise, so Activision have data that would say otherwise. Hence, they're doing a new one or another remaster. Also, EA doing Skate 2. Exactly. I mean, that's the thing, though. Like, so has the day gone potentially? are they due another day potentially? So yeah, absolutely, it could go either way, and I think it's not predefined as well in terms of how that is done. So that bit that we kind of finish on then is the validity, the authenticity, the realness of the games when they come along. If they are just remasters for the sake of remasters, then they're not going anywhere. They will flop. If they're remasters that are exceptional and then are countered by Skate, which is a wonderful game, and then they hit back with their own like return punt back, and that's wonderful too, then suddenly we've got competition on our hands, and people like a good bit of competition. So it could be the fact that both coming back at around the same period could be wonderful for that genre in terms of a rebirth, and then we go again. Gary says true that.gif for sure. That's why we need an Underground remake, because they had story mode. Pro Skater just has challenges. People complete a few challenges and then move on to something else. A story would keep people engaged. I agree. I mean, most games these days that are major and want replayability tend to have multiple different modes. So you'll get your single player, your multiplayer, and then the third mode, or the fourth mode, as it tends to be now. So the example that I usually drop onto is Call of Duty. So you got Call of Duty single player, run through the storyline. Call of Duty multiplayer, nice. Then they added the third mode, which was the zombies, which then gave them obviously a massive turnover, because that was something exceptional, something extra on top of it that brought people in. And then they had Spec Ops, and now they have the likes of Warzone and stuff. So yeah, I think a good Tony Hawk would use, like, I mean, skating is such a visual sport. Like, in terms of it's wonderful just being a spectator and seeing someone just jump off of a half pipe on a little bit of wood with the tiniest wheels in the world, suddenly spins around 5.5 times, backflips, lands on an edge and grinds away. Yeah, no, that's only in game, not real life. But still, the idea of being able to see those things, that would look incredible. Imagine Spider-Man Insomniac Games graphics, but with Tony Hawk dropping a 900. Yes, please. Yeah. Yes, please. Rollerblades as well. Yeah, I mean, throw rollerblades in. Jobs are good. Compared to the previous generations, I've done that one already. Good morning, gent, says Gargad. Good morning. How the devil are you, sir? I had to check the clock. It still is morning, so we'll allow my response. Yeah. Enzo says, fair enough. I'm obviously out of touch with the kids these days. Seems it does still sell. Skate 3 UK digital sales chart. Despite having released well over a decade ago, Skate 3 manages top digital sales charts in the UK thanks to a recent sale. Well, there you go. There you go. Yeah. I mean, it's the children that are wrong. Exactly. Principal Skinner meme. There you go. Let's jump into the next bit of the news, though. We'll put the pin in the Tony Hawk cycle for now. We'll keep you updated with anything else that comes out. But for now, Battlefield 6 leaks bring us actual in-game footage. Another look at the reveal trailer. This is written by Sherif Saed at VG247. It says, by the time we get to Battlefield 6's official reveal, the full trailer will have leaked in its entirety. Battlefield 6 leaks are now a weekly occurrence, and this week's drop is very interesting. After screen grabs from what looks to be the game's reveal trailer made their way online last week, we now return to an even bigger batch. Sadly, we can't actually see the images because they've been pulled in the article, but you get the idea. On Imager, a new album. When I'm back. Let me know when I'm back. Tell me if I'm back. Guess who's back? Back again. Graham's back-ish. Tell 10 men. Is he back? Is he back? Is he back? Is he back? Looks like we're back. Yes, I can see my stream preview on the screen. Nice. There we go. Okay, we're back. I will start the article again because I don't know how far I got into it. So let me go through that again. Sherif Saeed at VG247 says, Battlefield 6 leaks bring us actual in-game footage. Another look at the reveal trailer. By the time we get to Battlefield 6's official reveal, the full trailer will have leaked in its entirety. Battlefield 6 leaks are now a weekly occurrence. And this week's drop is very interesting. After screen grabs from what looks to be the game's reveal trailer made their way online last week, we now return to an even bigger batch. On Imager, a new album includes all of last week's screen grabs, as well as a whole lot more. The new shots are consistent with the style and tone of the initial batch and appear to also be captured from the same trailer. All of the screen grabs in that album have the same black bar stricken through them, and it's likely covering a watermark of some kind. This new set of shots also give us a hint of the styling and look of the game's title, which appears to be just called Battlefield, although there's the possibility one scene is missing. It also appears that the shots were captured in sequence because someone already put them together, giving us a very close approximation of the trailer. Annoyingly, we can't see the images because it looks like they've been pulled, unless they are available through the links or anything. I can't see them in the article here anyway.
I can't see them either.
And then it goes on to say, then there's this trailer which originated on TikTok. The video is a clever, if a little wonky, mashup of bits from various games, including past Battlefields, Unreal Engine tech demos, Destruction and Storm, and footage from indie shooter World War III. It's usually the sort of low-effort leak you'd immediately dismiss if it wasn't for two clips in particular. The first appears towards the beginning and shows what could only be actual footage from the next Battlefield. The HUD resembles that shown in the initial leak, and the squad and map layout on the left are very Battlefield. From that brief clip, we can see a 5-player squad and what seems to be a squad leader at the top. The player is seen reloading an SA-80 L86 variant, and they look to be free-looking as they do it, which would be a new feature for Battlefield. The second clip comes up a little towards the end, and it's from the perspective of the robot dogs seen in the leak. eDog273, as it's called in game, is shown scanning the environment, and that's when it cuts off. Both clips have the battle log shortcut to the top right, though that's neither here nor there. The next Battlefield is being revealed in June, so not very long, and we're likely to go and see even more of it at EA's Summer Showcase in July. It's coming to PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Samsung Smart Fridge, and all the rest at some point in the future. Nice, there you go. So Battlefield 6 has been leaked yet again. Awkwardly, we can't see them. So while I ask Bibby what his thoughts are, I'm going to go see if I can click through to this TikTok video, so if we can find this bit there. But Bib, what are your thoughts? Yeah. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I don't usually pay much attention to the leaks in the first place because usually, I mean, we've talked about this many a times, whether or not it's Battlefield or anything else. Usually when leaks happen, they are either bollocks or stuff that were not looked after from like maybe 8 months ago. So someone hasn't done the due diligence and just locked it away somewhere. So someone's found it and go, oh my God, look at all this stuff that's coming, where that was actually presented internally maybe 8 months ago, 8-9 months ago, and it's highly irrelevant now because the game's changed so much. So the leaks, albeit some are exciting, some are usually hoax, and some are just total bollocks. So I'm whatever we see in any of the TikTok videos or whatever leaks get put out there, I tend not to pay that much attention to it until I see the real deal with my own eyes anyway. So I'll reserve judgment. However, I'm excited for a new Battlefield game. I need a new Battlefield game. I really want this to succeed, and I want it to hit all the notes that the previous ones did. And when I'm talking previous, I'm talking like 10 years ago, 11 years ago, 12 years ago, 13 years ago. Like, I don't talk about the recent ones. I'm talking like Battlefield 4 or Battlefield 2. They're the kind of games that I want.
I have found a tweet that has a really choppy GIF. Someone has put a sequence of images together to show you the element from that. So this is from Stuart on PC. I don't know if he's the original finder of this, but at Stuart on PC has shared this GIF. So let me open this one up. So there you go. I will leave it on because it's just kind of a few scenes that are looping together. And it's basically helicopters, crash, boom, explosions, flames, fire, and stuff. I didn't take on because I was too busy typing and I can't multitask. Give me the premise of what you just said there, babe, about sometimes the leaks are bullshit, sometimes they're not. It was kind of what I heard. What did you end up? What was your closing comment there?
I tend not to use them. I'll listen to them. I don't know. I know what comes out of my mouth is, yeah, it's going word for it. Basically, the stuff that usually gets presented in leaks like this is probably 8 months old, 8 or 9 months old. The game is it will be completely different from the leaks that get shown. So I tend not to pay much attention to leaks unless I see something from the horse's mouth. So, i.e., the conference that's going to take place, like the leaks and stuff. Sometimes they're relevant, sometimes that they are bang on the money, but usually it's just either fan-made stuff that is so good you think it's real, or it's stuff that's highly relevant from like 8 or 9 months ago and someone's managed to find it, which the game looks nothing like it anymore. So yeah, leaks, I always reserve judgment until I actually see something from. from EA and what they're going to be giving us next month.
Yeah, I mean, interestingly for me is the fact that this has been pulled. It's not in that article that we've just had up on VG247 because it's not there anymore. IGN had something. I found an article from IGN as I was typing that didn't have anything in there, and other people are refusing to comment on it. And that is kind of a is that an EA situation? I mean, we probably shouldn't really be looking at this, but fuck it, let's throw caution to the wind. This is the Imager gallery. So these are all of the images that were put together. So if I scroll down this, you can see all the images, and there's the bar that goes through the middle of it with the meme face. I don't know why, but there you go. But there you start to see some assets, pictures in the background, and you see okay, there's a lot more rather than just a crash. There's stuff going on in the fields. Don't even know. Oh, there's a crash. We've got a rocket launch. I mean, it looks good in the background. Don't really know what's happening or why, but it's just a trailer. So is it in-game stuff? Probably not. But yeah, there is a lot of images. Obviously, these are just still frames, so it's probably not actually that long. It's probably a 15, 20-second trailer maybe, and there you go, just the Battlefield logo at the end. The interesting thing for me, though, is that it has been pulled, which makes me think that there is an element of validity to it. I just want to know where it's coming from. Like, we've started to see, there's been leaks left, right, and centre, and then to the point where, what was it, Battlefield was talking about spaghetti or something, when people were talking about leaks, and they just kind of drew a deflection with a mention of spaghetti bolognese. I can't remember what it was. All I remember is it was like, that was fucking genius and weird at the same time. I don't understand it. But EA clearly have someone somewhere that's leaking information out, or someone has a way to get information, and hopefully they put all that together. But yeah. Hopefully we can get it all boxed off, because leaks and stuff like that, whilst it's nice to stay in the loop and we obviously want to keep you all updated, I'd much rather wait and see it all. So EA, please stop allowing it to be leaked and just give it us in its beautiful entirety at the Xbox conference at E3 or wherever it's going to be at E3, and then at EA Play in July. Yes, please. That would be much, much better. Thank you very much. Tito says, I think it's just you. I'm with Sky and I never have a problem. Well, I didn't really. I had some dropouts, but 3 or 4 weeks ago, a month and a half ago, I don't know, somewhere in that time frame, lockdown life, it all blurs into one, we decided that, do you know what, we're going to upgrade our internet with Sky, and it's been shit ever since. So do not get the new Sky broadband router or any of that stuff, because it's terrible. They've downgraded us to the previous router, and it just doesn't hold out. It drops out all the time, which we've done the scoop all the way through the summer, all the way through winter, back through spring and into the summer again kind of time, and only over the last couple of months has it started to shit out to the point that it's crap as it is. It's pretty much like when it hits ish, boom, internet's going to drop out. So something they've done is trash. So yeah, we were on the phone with Sky yesterday. We'll be on the phone again today. Fun times, nice. Anyway, jumping into the next bit of news. This is 2 stories, so I'll go through them both back to back. This one from Tom Ivan at VGC says, new Uncharted movie image released as PlayStation acknowledges cinematic push is a risky venture. Sony also reportedly confirms there are no current plans to adapt God of War for film or TV. Do you know what? Actually, I didn't see that bit, so maybe we don't need the second article, but there you go. Sony has released a new image of the Uncharted movie featuring stars Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg. According to the New York Times, which first published the image, Sony is spending $120 million making the film, which is based on the PlayStation property created by Naughty Dog and launched in 2007. Rather than following the plot of the games, which have sold over 41 million units, the movie tells a prequel story featuring Nathan Drake, Holland, as a young treasure hunter learning from his mentor Victor Sullivan, Mark Wahlberg. Directed by Ruben Fleischer, who made Venom and Zombieland, the Uncharted movie is the first feature film from PlayStation Productions, a studio formed by Sony Interactive Entertainment to adapt its original game properties for film and television in partnership with Sony Pictures. The division is headed up by veteran Sony marketeer Azad Kilibash, who's head of product for PlayStation Worldwide Studios. Quote, we have 3 objectives, he told the New York Times: grow audience size for games, bring product to Sony Pictures, showcase collaboration. When it was suggested that a cinematic flop could negatively impact the Uncharted game franchise, Kazilibash acknowledged, "It's risky, but I think we can do it." The Uncharted film's release date was recently delayed by 6 months to February 18th, 2022. PlayStation Productions is also working on a Last of Us adaptation with HBO, a live-action Ghost of Tsushima movie helmed by John Wick director Chad Stahelski, and a Twisted Metal TV series from Deadpool's writers, among other projects. We'll stop there. Actually, do you know what? We won't stop there. We'll jump into the next one because that one didn't really touch on the God of War bit. So we'll jump into the next one there. No God of War film or TV series in the works, says Sony. This is written by Don Peppiatt at VG247. So it looks like Sony isn't making a God of War film or TV show, despite the company's foray into more game-based projects, a spokesperson has said. Though Sony has a lot of films based on video games in the works, God of War isn't something the company is bringing to the big screen anytime soon. Okay, let's see if I can flick forward. An unnamed Sony spokesperson confirmed to the outlet that God of War will be staying on the PS4 and PS5 for time being, despite the publisher's success on other projects in the wider media landscape. The article also comes with a couple more details regarding the upcoming Uncharted movie. Okay, there we go. So you can see it. The gist of it is there is no God of War. They don't go into details why or whatever. Kind of surprising if you think the games that they're pushing out onto consoles, Uncharted, an absolutely incredible cinematic experience if you haven't played through those games. Absolutely on consoles, into movies. It makes sense to push that into movies. Ghost of Tsushima, incredible. And that had almost film built into it. The fact that you could change it into that like cinema noir style and have it all black and white as if you're watching a samurai movie of the 70s kind of stuff. That's made for film. Understandable. The Last of Us, yep, okay, that is pretty much The Walking Dead with more emotion and emphasis on characters and so on. So yes, absolutely made for TV. Would you see Twisted Metal more suited to TV and media outside of games? Would you see that more suited than God of War? I don't think I would. I mean, boy, and all of that stuff. It seems bizarre that they're not pushing ahead with God of War, but they are pushing with those. But anyway, what are your thoughts, Pip?
Yeah, I agree. The Twisted Metal one, like how are you going to make something out of that? Like, I genuinely have no idea. It's going to look like Mad Max, if anything. But yeah, the God of War, that should absolutely be the case. I mean, you're probably going to see someone like, if it was the case, it was going to be someone like The Rock, being that, or maybe Batista. I don't know, some big bodybuilder dude. But yeah, I've not Twisted Metal over God of War, unless it's just to throw us off the scent, and they are going to do one at some point via PlayStation Studios. Who knows? I apologize.
How dare you? It's going to make me yawn as well. Yeah. I was going to cover it, but I'm going now.
But yeah, it's very interesting that chose Twisted Metal over the likes of that. But we could definitely see something like that. It would definitely make a good film, especially with the newer versions, and rather than the old versions of God of War, the PlayStation 4 version absolutely would make a great film. But they've got to pick and choose how much would it cost versus other different mediums, and obviously Twisted Metal. And again, would that cost more? I don't know, because they'd have to blow up a lot of cars. just be a
shitload of old ice cream vans and stuff. Job's good, and that's all you need to do.
Yeah, it seems very bizarre, but I'm not making the decisions. I think God of War would be a license to print money, surely. Surely that would be a banker.
You'd think, because I mean, it's God of War in itself transcends audiences. You've got the hack and slash games of old, and then you've got the big Sony first-person story mode, not first-person, single-player story mode, that the more recent game, and Ragnarok will be kind of thing. So it's kind of like, that is multi-genre on its own. So that kind of brings a lot of people in. So I feel that would go, although I would, Chappers agree with your comment saying Batista would be ideal for God of War, I reckon, Big Bad Dave. I'm not so sure. He would be the best to look at, I think, in terms of that, is the big bald head, the massive frame. I just don't believe Batista as a badass, because all I see is Drax the Destroyer now. Like,
yeah,
if I stand really still, I go invisible, or whatever it was. That's it. That's all I ever see now. So I just can't imagine it. Someone like The Rock, yeah. But then again, is The Rock right? I don't know. We'll just get the guy from Game of Thrones, the Mountain or whatever he is, the big fucking big dude. Let's get him. I mean,
something like that.
he's probably not got the personality in it either as well. But yeah, whoever it is, you need someone that's built like a brick house and can portray a character. And there's probably a lot of that to choose from in Hollywood. So, yeah, I've only ever seen the Animal Batista. See, even in his prime WWE days, I don't feel like he was like some people can run the mic. Like, I mean, that is where The Rock was exceptional. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's built like a fucking like a freak. He's massive. He's a good-looking guy. He's got charm. He's got wit. He's got personality. He can rip you up like off the mic though. And Batista was never one of those people that could do that kind of thing. Jason Momoa, okay, yeah, maybe Momoa could do it. Oh, Gerard Butler actually is a good shout. Although he's not built anymore though, is he? He's kind of is.
He can be though. I don't think he's going to find that 300 frame again.
I saw one of those horrendous like tear someone down stories that you see. Gerard Butler in lockdown has become a bit of a tubber kind of thing. It's like, haven't we all? Get off his back. He's still fucking much better looking than you, whoever wrote that article, you nasty bastard. Yeah. So, but yeah.
As long as it's not Tom Hardy, there's no way. I mean, he seems to be in everything at the moment. I do want to go and watch Venom 2 though.
You were merely born as a boy. I wasn't.
Yeah, to be fair, he did a really good painting.
See, I don't mind.
Really big in pain.
I don't mind Tom Hardy, but he looks like he's sat on a drawing pin. That's his sort of like his person. He always wants that deep emotional turmoil sort of stuff, which is I think why I kind of like Venom so much, because his character is a bit more slapstick. He's Eddie Brock. He's almost the comedy sidekick, and Venom's the one that has the emotional turmoil. He's just physically turmoiled kind of stuff. So I think that's why I kind of like Venom, because it took that away from me. Even in Peaky Blinders, he's got like chronic illness or something like that, and he's like, yeah, it's always that sort of person. So yeah, not for me. God of War would be an epic blockbuster movie, says Mr. T. I haven't had a new router in 3.5 years, says Tito. Well, there you go. That was kind of the same with us, and they were like, oh, that route was well old, to the point where like it gets that hot that the plastic coating paint had started to peel off the top of it. It was like, yeah, you need a new one. Don't get a new one. Stick with the old shit. It works. Enzo says, if Uncharted movie is half as good as any of the National Treasure movies, it'll be a hit. Do you know what? I genuinely, I've not seen anything other than 2-3 stills now, and without seeing any of the film, I still think it's going to be good, because of how good the games are. And Sony have invested in making sure that they are playing a part in the story, not just giving it to Hollywood, like we're speaking of The Rock, like we saw with Doom. There you go, do games, but in film. And no, PlayStation are hugely invested. So you've got games that are incredible and already have a perfect tone. The writers have nailed how to be serious, how to be comedic, how to add some slapstick, some sarcasm, irony. All of that stuff exists in the Uncharted series and is done perfectly throughout. So I just believe this is going to be good. And when you add in Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland to front that, you've got to fuck it up. I know it's possible. I know it's possible. And I don't want it to be, but I just don't think it will be. I think it will be good. Hopefully, we don't sit here in February 2022 and you all go, Graham, do you know when you thought this was going to be good? Well, that was shit. Or that fucking in-betweeners meme. That was fucking dreadful. Or whatever it was. Yikes. Kratos, for me, would be the dude who played Lincoln Burroughs in Prison Break with a beard. Has quite the angst. Yeah. I used to remember his name. I don't remember his name now, but yeah, I know you mean. Was he a vampire in Blade as well, or something like that? I can't remember, but yeah, I know you mean. Yeah, Tom Hardy could take a back seat. You got damn right. Tom Hardy was great in Peaky Blinders. He was, and he's been a good actor in most things, but it's that like. They're all kind of they start off from the same place, that deep I've been hurt, I'm a man scorned, and I've felt pain in my time, and it all comes through that way. And I just feel like Kratos isn't that person. He's just angry as fuck. Do you know what? Give me voice mod. I'll do it. That's it. Sorted. Job's a good one. I will be Kratos. Do you know what? I'm gonna do it for you now.
Hey, The name is Kratos, God of War, and Tom Hardy can suck my nuts. Yeah.
There you go. Sorted. That's it. Hollywood, hit your boy up. Yeah. Christopher Judge hype. Which one's Christopher Judge? That looks badass. That link, click the link in the chat. If you are on Twitch, if you're listening to this, then just imagine that you can see Lincoln Burroughs from Prison Break. If you don't know what that is, then unlock it. Okay, everything's fucking going wrong. My stream is frozen. My camera has frozen. Okay, let me restart my camera. Am I moving again? Yes, I'm moving again. Nice. Fuck me. Okay. This is the link that Asim's just shared. If you're in the chat, click the link. If you're watching the video, there you go. That is Lincoln Burroughs as Kratos, God of War. The only thing is Kratos, God of War on the older games is kind of more, I want to say, like that sort of Greek Norse mythology, sort of tall, really long limbs, and thin but big, whereas the new Kratos is more like beefy, like realistic, sort of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Not an Adonis sort of sculpture, but more of a big beefy dad sort of sculpture. Dad bod, that's it. Fucking give me dad bod Kratos, but still built. Yeah, that's the one. Teal'c is all I think with Chris Judge. Is that who Chris Judge is? Teal'c from Stargate. Yeah. Oh, it says there, Teal'c from Stargate. Yeah. I mean, he's got to be getting on a bit now, though, right? Chris Judge, because Stargate, I was watching 20 years ago. Chris Judge. How old is Chris? 56. I mean, that's not old. Not old for a God of War sort of character. So yeah, okay, I can see that. And is he still built though? Is he still built like a fucking machine? But there you go. So there is a new Uncharted movie. It is coming in 2022. We have a new picture and we have some more confirmations about how Sony is working in the world of non-games media. God of War is not included in that right now, but Twisted Metal is. So forget boy and all of the Viking mythologies. Yeah, that can all get out the window. Fighting ice cream trucks, that is the one. That's the future for Sony's TV and video content. But there you go. And speaking of future Sony content, though, we also have one final news article for you today, which is free stuff. Everyone likes freebies. Andy Robinson at BGC says, the new Virtua Fighter 5 is reportedly part of June's PS Plus update. Plus, Star Wars Squadrons and Operation Tango. Virtua Fighter 5 is yet to be announced for PS4. So let's jump into the article. A new version of Virtua Fighter 5 will reportedly be released next month at no additional cost to PlayStation Plus subscribers. According to Area Jugones, I don't know how to say that. It's Spanish, though. It even says that. A Spanish site which has reported accurate PS Plus leaks in the past. Virtua Fighter Ultimate Showdown will be one of 3 PS Plus titles planned for June, alongside EA Star Wars Squadrons and PS5 Spy Adventure Operation Tango. Banner and icon art for Virtua Fighter Esports was published on the Japanese network earlier this month with the name Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown, which matches a listing published on South Korea's Games Rating Board's website. Sega is yet to officially reveal its Virtua Fighter X Esports project. Sega is set to officially reveal its Virtua Fighter X Esports project in a Japanese live stream on Thursday, May the 27th. So that's this Thursday. Ultimate Showdown would mark the first standalone release for Virtua Fighter 5 on last-gen consoles. Sega's fighting series hasn't seen a mainline installment since 2010's Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown, which was eventually released for Xbox 360 and PS3 in 2012 and later made available via a mini-game in 2016's Yakuza 6 The Song of Life for PS4. Do you know what? We could stop there. We don't need to go into all the rest of the stuff, but Virtua Fighter 5 could be coming back and free to all PS Plus users in the PS Plus update for June, as well as Star Wars Squadrons and Operation Tango. Do you like some free games, babe?
I do, but I can't remember the last time I played a Virtua Fighter game.
I don't think I've ever played Virtua Fighter that at all that's not in an arcade. I genuinely think I've only ever played Virtua Fighter on sticks in an arcade. Drop a quid in, smash your mate, jobs are good and pow.
Yeah, but I mean, it might not be Friday, but it's a free game day. So, well, it's not until when does it come out? First of June. Yeah, because that's the Tuesday, isn't it? So yeah, I mean, I probably will give this a download and give it a try. Interested to see what it's on 20 years on from when I've probably last played it on a Dreamcast somewhere. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars Squadrons. Can't turn your nose up at that. I mean, hasn't that been free somewhere already or something?
It's on Games Pass, isn't it?
Is that what it is? Okay. And I think
Yeah.
I get it through EA Play, although I haven't played it because I just don't want to play it. It's like, I know it's VR enabled, and I just do not want to touch it until we're back in the office and I can stick the PSVR on and go, yes, there we go.
Yeah.
That is Star Wars Squadrons. If I'm sat in a TIE fighter or an X-Wing flying around in space, then I absolutely want to be able to turn my head and check out my homie in his little X-Wing alongside me or whatever. I want to do that with a VR headset, not just on the sticks. So nice to have it though. So I mean, I do have EA Play, but if that drops off in 6 months' time or whatever it is, then I'll keep Star Wars Squadrons and we can do that because I'll get the PSVR 2 or whatever it is next year, maybe ish. I don't know. Operation Tango. I do not know what that one was. Did it say in the article what Operation Tango was? Spy Adventure Operation Tango. Don't know what it is. Doesn't give you any detail in the article either, but there you go. Those are your 3 free games in June's PlayStation Plus update. Virtua Fighter 5, Star Wars Squadrons, and Operation Tango. So fill your boots. Tito says, but it's not Friday. Like Baby said, no, not free, but it's out today. By the time we get to Friday, it'll be old news. So we thought we'd share it today. Although we will probably have an update on Friday because... whilst NBA 2K21, by the way, I downloaded that yesterday. I did tweet out from the Ice Cream Affords account yesterday. Make sure you get NBA 2K21. It's there now. Grab it now. It's free. If you're not going to play it right now, well, you get it and keep it. Job's good. And it's there. Go play whenever you need it. But make sure you get it before Thursday evening, UK time. That's when it drops out the Epic Game Store, which does mean, though, that we will have more free games to discuss on Friday morning. So we will still have Free Game Friday. We just thought we'd throw in Free Game Tuesday. Why not? We need something that begins with T, that means free. So, like, Free Game Tuesday. There you go. I played the shiz out of Virtual Fighter 1 back in the day, says Lake. I played plenty of Virtual Fighter /Fighters, but don't really remember which, because I was always Tekken. Virtua Fighter was the blockier Tekken. Tekken was always the one for me, or Street Fighter. And Virtua Fighter was just the one that I played when I was out. The other ones I played at home. That was always the one that I played on someone else's console when they had it or in an arcade. So, yeah, it's nice to see it back, though. Is this... Well, I don't want to spend too long on this because we're going to wrap things up now, but is this another one of those Tony Hawk conversations? Has it had its day? Is Virtua Fighter 5 coming back and doing anything to capture the hearts and minds of people? Or is it entering a landscape that has moved on significantly since it was last there? Virtua Fighter 5 in all the arcades was wonderful, but Mortal Kombat has Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. It has the Predator in it. It's had the alien xenomorph in it, and all of that jazz, and RoboCop as well, I think. I can't quite remember. All of those crossovers that have been in there that are outside of the video game genre. It's expanded. It's built itself up to be something much, much bigger and significant than it is. How can Virtua Fighter contest with that? Street Fighter has had some of the most incredible gameplay. They've fine-tuned everything over years and years and years, and you can see it. I mean, that's the reason why it's one of the most competitive games at... I've completely forgotten the name of the fighting event that PlayStation have just bought. Evo. So, Street Fighter is a mainstay at Evo. Could Virtua Fighter jump in and prize the casual audience that Mortal Kombat has? I know it's unfair to Mortal Kombat in general, but just stick with it. The casual audience that Mortal Kombat has, or the hardcore fighting audience that Street Fighter has. How does Virtua Fighter 5 jump in and separate those? It's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
Enzo says, I'll take a peek at it. I've always just seen the cash and thought, nope, not for me. Actually, we're talking about Stargate. Okay, Stargate, the movie is still good. Now, never got into the TV series. The movie is the winner every time. David says the TV series is good as well. It was at one point the longest running US sci-fi TV series, and its spin-off Atlantis is where Jason Momoa started to get noticed. I did not know he was in Stargate Atlantis. There you go. I did watch a lot of Stargate. Stargate TV series is actually very good. Virtual Fire, I always thought was interesting because of the camera angles. That was a big leap in fighting games in its day. Yeah, he's just kind of dropped off as well as Sega did, kind of in general. But it's our turn to drop off now. Thank you, everyone, for sticking around for the full show. This is the second scoop of the week. We do have 3 more coming. We do this each and every single weekday on twitch.tv/iStreamUploads at 10 a.m-ish. So do come back for more tomorrow. We are done for the day, so we're going to find someone to raid. So stick around. You'll get yourself a few extra channel points for doing so. Not only do you get extra channel points for yourself, those are the little things in the bottom corner. We call them sprinkles. Pro segue. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Not only do you get yourself a few extra sprinkles, but if we raid someone else, we make someone else's day. We give them a few extra viewers. We say hello to them, and there's very few things as lovely as a raid when you're a Twitch streamer. So it's nice to drop a raid on someone else and give them a little bit of support. So stick around for that. Like I said, no gameplay today, but we will have some more of that for you tomorrow. Before all of that happens, though, Mr. Bibb, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yes, again, thank you very much for joining us here on Tuesday. Thank you very much for submitting your articles. We very much appreciate it. But if you want to help shape our show, there is 2 ways that you can do that. First of all, find us on social media. It's at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms, or get us in our Discord. There's an area over there for you called The Scoop. All we need from you is the URL plus your thoughts and impressions. We will then give you our thoughts and impressions on the very next show, which will be at what time tomorrow, Mr. Graham Day?
That's going to be at 10 a.m. Ish. 10 a.m-ish. We'll see you at 10 a.m-ish. So, yeah, there you go. Best way is just follow the channel. If you're here now and you haven't done it already, hit follow. You get notified when we go live. So if it's 10 a.m, oh, you know. If it's 10:30, which is 10 a.m-ish, you know. If it's 11:15, kind of like it was today, then you'll still know. So make sure you hit follow on the channel. That way you do get notified. So stick around for the raid. We'll pass on some love to someone else. But from us at Ice Cream Uploads, have yourselves a lovely day. And remember, stay frosty.